Here they are, the official jerseys of the 2022 and beyond Tour de France. Congratulations, first of all. How long has this been in the making, and how did you feel in the moment that you knew you'd be designing the jerseys for the foreseeable future?
Well, it was an emotion, an amazing emotion. It's something that has been with us, with the company for many years. It's a dream that my dad before us had, and that we could finally fulfill. And it was actually for us a victory of a philosophy that it's been with the company for many years, that we could still produce, create so the jerseys in Italy, in our own factory. It's been something that for our family has always been a big pride, and so we finally got it. So, but I will leave to Fergus to describe the feeling of designing it, because that's who he actually did it.
Before we come on to the design, can we just hold the jerseys up, actually, for everybody to see? Because I know you've got microphones to juggle as well. But here they are. So we have the yellow jersey, Tour de France Santini, and, of course, the polka dot jersey as well, the mountains classification. The two jerseys that, of course, will be worn on the shoulders of, we don't know yet, next season. So, Fergus, then talk to us about this creative process, the design process, how much work has gone into it, and the emotion behind it, as Monica says.
Sure. So, I mean, obviously with Santini, we would have worked on previous Grand Tours, and obviously we have the Vuelta as well. So we're, strangers to creating classification jerseys for the biggest races in the world. But this is something very special, and all these 4 jerseys carry a weight and a significance that's really it's unmatched, honestly, in the world of cycling. So you have to bear that in mind, I guess, before you start the process of the design of these 4 jerseys. And I don't know, where would you start? There's so much behind each one of them in terms of the history, the riders, the race. And I think we started off really trying to figure out how could we convey that while maintaining, obviously, the purity, the colors, obviously, with each garment, each jersey. So we started there, and we tried to include what each jersey signified in a text that's printed in each one, while then externally trying to create a really clean, beautiful garment that would be, an honor to design. So that's where we started.
Yeah, because there's a story to each jersey, isn't there? Within the race, there's often a race within a race of every stage of the Tour de France, and of course 21 stages. And you're right, the text, I just saw it backstage, is actually printed within each jersey. There is the story, you can see it here, as Monica holds it up. That text is written there. The story behind the yellow jersey, and of course the other jerseys as well. Those little details are found all throughout the jerseys as well. Just talk us through them. And you can see on just the hem of that one there, the polka dots.
Sure.
So, such attention to detail.
That was really the idea behind each one of them, as I said, was to try to include all these small, very subtle details that really wouldn't jump out initially, but if you searched on the jersey, they would be there. So the gripper along the hem of the sleeve of the jersey is this little design that reminiscent of the Arc de Triomphe, and again the patch that's sewn into each of the jerseys that carries effectively the name, the concept where it all started. The jersey is the trophy, le maillot est le trophée, and this is where effectively it all started with this, because the jersey really is the trophy. That's what it is, and again, that's what we had to work with. Yeah.
That's pressure, though, isn't it? Because you can't get a Tour de France jersey wrong. You can't, change it, or it evolves, sure, over time, but it can't be completely changed from what it was before. How did you go about that, creating something that's new, that has the Santini stamp, brand, vibe to it, but maintains the aesthetic and like you said, the purity of the Tour de France?
So I think really you can overcomplicate things by trying to gild the lily, so to speak, but that wasn't really the idea. The jerseys speak for themselves, and you have to, in terms of the design, honor that first and foremost, and that's what we were convinced we had to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you said, you cannot make the yellow jersey different, because the yellow jersey is the yellow jersey. So what we brought to the table was, of course, the technology behind that. So all the expertise that we have for many years that we do this work. We of course created it with in mind the fact that the riders needs to have top of the range. We work on the fabrics considering the idea that we needed to have eco fabrics, so from recyclable materials, and then Fergus of course came out with all these little ideas that make each one of the jersey very precious. So I would say that we injected all the technology we had with little design gifts.
Now, again, going back to the thing that's printed inside the jersey, there's a space left at the bottom of the story where whoever ultimately wins the classification, their name will be printed onto that in the jersey. So it will be forever theirs. That will be the jersey. So
as the first winner of the Santini Tour de France jersey.
Exactly.
This is written on your website about the new jerseys. Handmade in Italy, tested with champions, a result of 50 years of experience, utilizing eco-sustainable technical fabrics, rendering a fit that is inimitable. Talk to us about the testing process then and the technical fibers that you've mentioned, of course, keeping the eco-sustainability in mind too.
Well, certainly, as Monica said, kind of at the Santini would be at the forefront of the technical end of cycling apparel as well. So really kind of for all the design aspects to create the look of the garment, as was mentioned, primarily the thing has to work when it's worn by pro riders. So that's number one. And the testing that will go into this, as I said before, we would have worked with pro teams and the Vuelta, the World Championships jerseys. So we're well versed in how to create jerseys to work when you ride a bike. Let's put it like that.
And for you, Monica, as well, overseeing this process to create these jerseys, did anything surprise you along the way? Did anything were there any curveballs at any point?
No, I would say that, as Fergus mentioned, we all put our heads into that, knowing that we couldn't modify too much a symbol that was the jersey. And then what we actually came out was really this idea that the Tour de France doesn't have really a trophy. The jersey in itself is the real trophy there, so it's always been like that, and we love that idea, and that's why in the end we incorporated it in the design of the jersey with these patches, and then actually with Fergus we have a very good team. We not only, Fergus is the pinnacle of this whole experience of developing products, but then we also have a lot of skilled people within the company, and I think that we really work well together because everybody puts their perfect amount of their own expertise. So from the pattern maker to the person that stitches, and so this is the result of this super well-balanced work, I think.
Definitely, if you could understand, within the factory that we have, going back to someone like Marco Pantani, there was a time when we were making, Mercanto di Uno jerseys, there was people in the factory that remember producing those. So, as Monica said, everybody that's involved in the process, from A to Z, is really well versed in the world of cycling and the significance of what these mean. So it was incredible for them as well to see this going through the production line.
Yeah, it must be incredible now. I can't imagine how you'll feel next July when we see the Tour hit the roads. We've obviously got.
It is an incredible experience actually to walk through the factory right now, because without any of us really mentioning anything, but all the workers in the factory decided to have a yellow ribbon on their machine, and so you walk through the factory with all these yellow ribbons around, and it's quite an image.
Gorgeous, yeah. We've got the yellow jersey and we've got the polka dot jersey here. We've seen the details. We've got, the grippers. We've got the aero sleeves as well. The Arc de Triomphe is on the aero sleeves of this one for those who just entered the room. Does the green jersey for the points classification, the white jersey for the youth classification have similar details, similar sort of special moments to them?
Yeah, they're all like that. Everyone has got.
No, actually, they follow the same theme for each one, and obviously each one. The idea was to create, I guess you could, from that point of view, the most yellow jersey possible, the most polka dot jersey possible, etc. And that's where all the details come into play. Yeah.
No, it's brilliant to see. Can you even imagine, let's throw it forward, you're saying now how brilliant it is to walk through the factory and the yellow ribbons are out in force. How proud will you feel come, I think, the first stage in July next year, when the first rider puts on the first ever Santini yellow jersey, and then come the end of the tour when the first rider stands on that podium on the Champs-Élysées? Can you imagine? I know it's been such a long process, it's almost hard to take yourselves out of that and throw it forward to a time when it comes to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, no, it's going to be incredible, because, we're, with all greatest respect with everybody that works here, we're a small company. We made big decisions in terms of maintaining production where we are, big decisions in terms of how we want to operate and be seen. So for us to have that jersey with our name on it is really going to be incredible. Yeah.
It's going to be for sure an amazing day, the start of an incredible journey that actually already right now feels like a dream. My dad cannot even talk about it without crying all the time. So yeah, it was something that we really fought for because we really believed in, and we started years ago to really, getting into this process. It wasn't easy, taking away the sponsorship of the jersey of the Tour de France from a French producer. It was not an easy decision also from the organization, and we feel that they have a lot of expectations, and of course we will hope to be able to be up to the task.
So there's pride and a bit of pressure then, I guess, as well.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. Okay, of course, not just the men. They won't be the only ones on the podium next July. We will see Tour de France Femmes next July as well. We're going to have women standing in a yellow jersey, and here it is, the Tour de France Femmes on the women's yellow jersey. Can you put into words how special that is?
It is even special for us. I mean, this is a company that is run by two girls, me and my sister. We have 90% of the employees in the companies are women. So for us to see what's happening in women's cycling is amazing. We always believed in that. We support it as much as possible. And so for us, the fact that we will be putting this incredible jersey on the shoulders of the first women winning the Tour de France Femmes, it will be even a bigger emotion. We are super proud. We have dreams of who's going to be this winner, of course. But whoever is going to be, it will be the first. And for us, it will be memorable, to something that we will bring in our hearts forever, for sure.
Of course, the design process as well between a men's fit and a women's fit is something else to take into consideration, isn't it?
Sure. Likewise, the women's jerseys are of completely the equal of that of the men's. That goes without saying. And in the same way that we work with World Tour men's teams, we have World Tour women's teams as well, obviously. So we know precisely what to do. We know what works. And from that point of view, correct, there was incredible attention put towards that fact that, they had to actually work as well for the women that would race as well as for the men.
And you've mentioned, of course, that you've been designing and supplying jerseys to Grand Tours, to the World Championships over years and years now. How does this rank? How does the Tour de France rank in Santini's history?
That's a good question. Listen, you can, like I say, pretend all you want, but to be very honest, we do have a very other important association with the UCI, but from my personal point of view, that's as good as it gets right there. That's it. That's number one.
For you as well?
For sure, the World Champion jersey for me is in my heart. We've been supplying that amazing jersey with the rainbow colors since forever, since 1988. So, and I've been already, you know, the guys at the UCI already told me that not to forget that now that we have the Tour de France, but for sure, no, we will not forget the fact that we still are the Rainbow Factory, as we call ourselves. But as Fergus says, of course, this is not one-day race. This is the Tour. It's probably the toughest, most coveted jersey in all the cycling world. So let's say that it's another one to add to our big collection. And we hope that we will keep it for a long time, as we do with the World Champion jersey.
And can you try to just sum up the impact, the meaning of this partnership to Santini?
Well, as I said before, the whole company is, you know, super thrilled about that because we've been, you know, chasing this symbol of a jersey for so long, and it was, you know, creating these expectations also within all our employees. And when we got it, I remember that we brought everybody into our big meeting room. We had this old people meeting without telling anybody what the reason was. And so after a while, we shown to them, you know, all our mission and vision. And then we ended with a beautiful video of the Tour de France and said, we have the partnership. And you had this incredible boom out. But then after, when we went out, a few of my employees came to me and they said, oh, thank God it's that. You know, I was afraid that you were telling me that there was no vacation this year. So
oh, no. I love that. How did you all celebrate?
There probably won't be a vacation. We have to make these.
There's a lot of pressure. How did you all celebrate then? After that moment where you sort of tricked all your colleagues into thinking there was no vacation or they were being made redundant or something, how did you all sort of celebrate together?
We celebrated, of course, with champagne and a lot of yellow pasticcini, that is, you know, little pastries. But no, and then, of course, as good Italians and Bergamese, we are from Bergamo, we said, okay, let's go back to work now.
And can I be cheeky and just ask, not who you'd like to see, because obviously you will remain impartial as the official jersey suppliers of the Tour de France, but who you predict we may see standing in the yellow jersey in both the Tour de France and the Tour de France Femmes next July?
Good Lord. Good Lord. Well, I don't know. We'll start with the women's race. I mean, kind of, we have an incredibly strong women's team. I mean, there's some riders there. Not to, you know, kind of, I mean, let's just say there's a few riders there that would be fantastic if they could take the first women's yellow jersey home. Huh?
Well,
did you name a name? You've just not named a single name,
I
though, have you?
I don't want to kind of curse anybody, but kind of, I don't know, it'd be great if Lizzie could take one home. Huh?
Yeah, Lizzie's is in our hearts, of course. So that would be, and she's as super good at first as we've seen at the Roubaix this year. So, well, why not? Let's hope that we can see her on the podium. And
for the men as well.
The men, I mean, I can tell you that I've been approached already by the team of the current leader, and they said, well, good that I know your address, so I know where I can come to buy the jerseys, you know.
That is confidence, isn't it?
That's confidence.
Okay, Tadej Pogacar then certainly has his eye on another Tour de France jersey. Thank you both so much for telling us the story behind this iconic jersey and your reimagining of it. Congratulations, it's going to be a spectacular 2022 for you. Fergus, Niland and Monica Santini, ladies and gents, thank you so much.
Thank you.
There are some technical difficulties. There you go. Congratulations, Santini. Thank you so much.